fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight. Never run from a real fight. She's the one named Sailor Moon. So it's October, which means that theoretically you're getting your witchy content on. Like rhinestones. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of Halloween lists out there that are like, watch these fun Halloween videos and they'll make you feel good and Halloweeny autumnal vibes. And I could do that. I could tell you to watch Over the Garden Wall or Hocus Pocus or like Charmed. But what I want to do is I want to actually list what I want to talk about, which is sort of a extrapolation of the magical girl genre in all its forms. So I'm including, Maho Shoujo from Japan all the way to like Shera and the Princess of Power in America. So this is my list of top 5 sort of girl power magic witch shows that I like to watch and make me feel good, because I'm only here for the good vibes at this point. I don't got no time for the bad vibes. I only want a warm blanket wrapped around me so tight it's almost like a chokehold. That's all I want. Nothing else. And so these shows kind of feel like that vibe to me. They got magical girl power stories with friendship, and that's all I want. So here they are. First off, you got The Worst Witch. I already made a whole video about The Worst Witch, but just to recap, it's got Mildred Hubble, who is a witch. We're talking about the show. In the show, she is from a non-magical family, and she kind of like Sailor Moon has that Dojiko vibe where she's like clumsy, or she can't do anything right, but she has a heart of gold. I think that's what that means. Anyway, so yeah, good vibes there. She makes friends with people her age, and like I said in my video, the older professors are friends with each other and have valuable relationships, and then they also have friendships together across age and generational gaps, not romantically, just like I respect you. Oh, thanks for saving the school. Oh. So yeah, The Worst Witch. I watched it when it first came out on Netflix, and it just like was better than I could have ever hoped for it to be. I mean, the CGI is not good, but besides that, the acting is great. The costumes, even the costumes, I said they like the attention to detail with those lightning bolt collars is like amazing. The young people actors, pretty talented. I mean, they keep getting scooped for London Broadway. I don't know what that's called. So anyway, The Worst Witch. Watch it again. Watch it every day. Perfect show for any time. You feel like you want to hug? The Worst Witch. You want to remember that friendship exists? The Worst Witch. It is the year 2020. The Worst Witch. So I watched both Charmed. I'm including those as one number. It's Charmed times 2, but it's one Charmed, one beast. So there's Charmed 1998 and there's Charmed 2018. They had the dignity to wait 20 years before rebooting it. So Charmed 1998, it's got the very sexy Hallowell sisters. Fun and horrible fact, I am now older than all of the actresses who played the Hallowell sisters. That is unacceptable. I found that out and I was like, what? And also, like, Orlando Bloom was younger than me when he was in Pirates of the Caribbean. And I'm just like, William Turner. I'm running into a sort of a strange situation, which is that I guess I'm aging out of the media that I like. And I don't mean like I have lost interest in it. I mean all of the protagonists are becoming younger and younger and younger than me. Like, I don't know how old the kids are supposed to be, and like My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, but it's supposed to be a show for children. I mean, I like that. I mean, I like Teen Titans. It's got teen in it. And I like all these shows like The Worst Witch or Little Witch Academia, and that if they're in school, they're younger than me. Because no one has been bold enough to do a postdoc in magic. We're still waiting on it. I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Someone's going to be real edgy. So yeah, Charmed, 1998. I rewatched it and it was so weird because I remember watching it when I was but a young girl. And it was on TNT, which was like cable. Oh, do you guys remember cable? That was weird. So my parents used to get cable and I used to be like 11 and I would watch Charmed reruns. I don't think it was like the new episodes. And it would be on every morning, like deep in the AM. I know that Buffy the Vampire Slayer was also on, but like Charmed would be on and I would watch it. And like, I feel like that show was probably too sexy for me, but I probably didn't pick up on it at all. It also has a lot more murder than I remembered. When I was rewatching the first couple of seasons recently, it what's the word? It kind of startled me how not procedural, like police procedural the episodes are, but the fact that they very frequently start off in a CSI type fashion where like some gal gets murdered and then the charmed gals, God, can I even name them? Prue, Piper, and Phoebe. There's another one. Is it Paige? Anyway, they go and they have to stop these madmen from from murdering witches or young ladies, or I don't think they ever murdered children, but on rewatch I like really detested some of the men. I just kept being so angry at Leo. Yeah, and I don't like, as an adult now, I don't like the trope that's like, we're witches and we can't use our powers for personal gain. I'm like, you live in capitalism. Like, please use your powers for personal gain. And I don't even mean like douche sideshow tricks. I just mean, it seems like a silly, speed bump to be like, you can't use your powers for personal gain. Like, okay, well, the conflict will come from somewhere else. It's not like we're actually avoiding the conflict by not using our powers for personal gain. There's something's always happening in Charmed. Someone's always murdering young witches. Yeah, so I just feel like they all should have taken a bite of a darker apple, if you know what I mean. Because they're very precious in a way. Like, I feel like it's this weird conjunction of being like hypersexualized, but also very precious in like a Judeo-Christian way. Like, I'm not going to lie or use my powers for personal gain. I'm like, you're a witch. But so yeah, in juxtaposition, 2018's Charmed, I found the characters to be. Did I find them to be more relatable? I guess I found them to be more relatable. I don't know if that's because it's modern or what. A lot of people were very infuriated with the reboot of Charmed because they were like, meh, they changed it, and like, meh, they like it's not the Hallowell sisters anymore. You've ostracized your original fan base, and I'm like, no, they didn't, because I'm still watching it. But so yeah, so in the OG one, I do not know how old the Hallowell sisters are supposed to be. The actresses are like 23, 26, that sort of thing. But they're acting like adults. Like they live in a house with no parents, and I mean 26 is an adult, but there's a spectrum. I don't know. Maybe different people are on different paths. The Charmed gals are just they have like very like precious Americana paths. Even though they're living this like crazy paranormal lifestyle, they're also like, I just want a husband and 2 kids and a white picket fence. And I'm like, who are you? Whereas the gals in the new Charmed, I feel like, are way more what would you call it, sympathetic, at least in their motivations and their desires. You've got Macy, who's the eldest sister. She's like a STEM aficionado. She's brilliant. She's getting like internships and grants to work on science. I don't remember what her exact thing is. Genetics? I don't know. And so like she's got this whole thing where she's like, I have a career and that's really important to me and I barely have time for other things. And so that's her arc, I guess. So yeah, Charmed 2018, I would say some of the pros of it are that it has much better effects. We have come a very far way in television effects in terms of what's going on. The sisters, like internally with themselves and then also with their external acquaintances, they have much more diverse and varied friendships and relationships. It's not all just one guy, one gal, one white lighter, whatever. Oh, and speaking of which, the white lighter in Charmed 2018, at first I was so like mad at his existence because this is kind of my problem with The Craft, the movie The Craft too, is that you've got these powerful women, but they're still answering to a male figure. In The Craft, it's like they're Mammon? It's their dark god or whatever that grants them their power. And in Charm 2018, it's Harry, their white lighter. And at first I was like, get out of here. This is my lady, magical girl, feminist fantasy. But he actually ends up being really cool because he exists solely to wear nice sweaters and bake baked goods for the Charmed girls. And boy, is that what I want. I just want a cookie and to sit in. They have like a lovely vivarium. They have like a plant room. And I want that. I want that to be my life. That's my dream. Yeah, the houses in the Charmed shows are really cool. So moving on from that, because I'm taking 1,000 years. Madoka Magica. I have so many opinions on this. So Puella Magi Madoka Magica is an anime. It is like if you just looked at the poster, you'd be like, wow, that looks cute. It looks precious. And it kind of does have a starting place, which is twinned with like Sailor Moon. It is harkening back to the Maho Shoujo basics, except instead of just like treading that path, it takes a real hard veer. It gets real spooky. So what I like about Puella Magi Madoka Magica, they have colored outfits. Like each, like, you know how in Sailor Moon there's like Sailor Jupiter, Sailor Mars, and they have like different personalities and different. So in Puella Magi Madoka Magica, they have like color themed outfits, and I have a hard on for that. So that's like a small thing though. Big things are the fact that it's subverting genre tropes. I'm into that. I really like the soundtrack. The music is like, it makes me cry. And then the art is really cool too. A big thing in Puella Magi Madoka Magica is the antagonists are called witches, and they fight them. The magical girls fight the witches. And it's not like a woman with like a wart and like a pointed hat. That's not what they're fighting. They're fighting, the animators use the animation to create this surreal reality of what a witch does to their world. So like if the main character gets caught up in, you know, a witch's sphere, then like their surroundings change, the music changes. There's like, I don't want to describe them as sprites because I don't think that's a word they use in the show, but the witch has smaller manifestations of itself and its wrath that it like sets out, and so it like populates this whole like arena with like dark twisting tendrils or like soot sprites or you know, squid monsters, like whatever. So yeah, that's really cool. Madoka Magica makes me cry so hard. So that one, I guess I would give it a caveat that it starts out with good vibes and then it gets dark and then it ends on like sweet but dark vibes. I definitely always cry when I watch it because I'm so moved by all the characters' love for each other. Yeah, but people die in that one, so it is sad. Um, Moving on. Shera, Princess of Power on Netflix is a great show. Like I think if someone really obstinately believed like animation isn't an art form, like animated TV shows, they're for children and they're foolish, I would either point them to something Miyazaki or Avatar The Last Airbender or Shera, Princess of Power, because it's really good. It's really good consistently throughout. And that's really hard to achieve. There isn't a lot in this world that I think is really good consistently throughout. It's like 3 stars. But Shera is. I think that the characters are very likable. The world is interesting. It's got this juxtaposition of technology and like ethereal old world magic. And what's the other thing? In all the dialogue, it just seems like the script writers always had fun. And like, so that's the thing. I think that when shows, this actually is a thing that can happen on darker shows. Like if you were watching Charmed 2018, it's got some dark moments where they're like, like, oh no, like some demons have captured me or whatever. And like that could be very dark if the demons were like, we're gonna torture you now. Like it could steamroll right into a very dark place. But they try to keep it light. Like I said, they have a white lighter who brings them pastries. And it's kind of the same with Shera, Princess of Power. It has a lot of themes that could be very dark, like abandonment or like abuse of power and abuse of sort of cyclical abuse. And what's I guess self-doubt. Like these are like things that characters deal with. And you might be like, Chelsea, those don't sound like good vibes. They don't sound like good vibes at all. But like they have friends surrounding them all the time. I feel like if you have a little sadness as like a wasabi type topping, it can make your food item lost the metaphor quite delicious. But if the whole food item is wasabi, I do not want to eat it. Like, that's too much. I don't want the whole thing to be sadness. I don't want a burrito of sadness with sadness on top. I want a burrito of friendship with sadness on top. And that actually is how I would market Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Burrito of friendship with sadness on top. Shera, Princess of Power, I wouldn't even say is sad. It's just got characters who are going through hard times, whether because they've lost someone who's very valuable to them or because they've lost belief in themselves, etc. But yeah, the art is very vivid. All the character designs are like fun and cute. They subvert some expectations of the genre. A lot of people were, I say a lot of people, it was probably a bunch of old men, were like mad that Shera had been like defeminized. And I'm like, she still has an enormous cascade of blonde hair and like a female body. Like she's supposed to be a teenager. She's like, I think she's supposed to be a teenager. I think that's how old she is. Anyway, you're not supposed to be sexy when you're a teenager. You're supposed to be like either a minor or like slightly above a minor. And if you're a minor, we don't think about that. But anyway, so I really like the subversion when they redesigned them. I don't know if Bo was a character in the original She-Ra, like from the 80s. I doubt it. But I like that they have a young man whose armor does not protect his tum-tum. I thought that was hilarious because in shows like that where they sexualize women, not the current She-Ra, but the old one, they're always like, oh yeah, here's your armor. It's like a tip plate and nothing else. Maybe like a tiny decadent loincloth. But like, you will get murdered not wearing real armor if you're fighting with swords. So, I think it's funny that the bow has not gone. Anyway, so yeah, She-Ra, I think, is just a show that respects itself and its audience. And you're like, Chelsea, how do you prove that? I just think it's consistently good throughout. The ending comes to a solid conclusion. They like chose when they were going to end it as opposed to like ripping the rug out from under us like they did with Teen Titans. So that's fun. So yeah, She-Ra has amazing friendship throughout. Madoka Magica makes me feel things. Charmed 2018 is fun and like modern. Charmed 1998 is like fun and campy. And The Worst Witch is just good for the soul. And I don't know how to end these, honestly. Happy Halloween. I hope that no matter what gender you are, you enjoy my girly witch shows because I think there's something for everyone in them. Mostly friendship, sometimes cool animation or music.